Hello order flow traders, and welcome to a video on strong and weak resistance and support. So you are looking at support, and a third touch of support, resistance here. Now what we're going to be doing in this video is gauging each resistance and support point to see whether or not it will hold or it will fall. So what we see here is a very strong supply run or moderately strong supply run, and we see a third touch of support. Now, do you think that price is likely to continue falling through support, or do you think that this support will be respected and price rises? I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds for this one. Okay, so what I see before I show the answer is we see a pretty large offer cluster that's added up here. We see some offer spoofing here. We see no bid spoofing whatsoever. There's really no bids doing anything here. And what we see is just a very old bid cluster that was here that's been there for quite some time. We see heavy selling and really not a lot of buying, so I think price falls. And price does fall, as you can see here. Now we have another range here, right? Perfect. We have support, 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 some resistance here. Now, does this type of pattern here look like this support will hold in the short term, or do we think price rises? All right. Let's see what happens. Looks like it's rising. Another touch of support though. Okay, so we rose from support. So this support did in fact hold, as you can see here. Support here did hold. Why did it hold? Well, we can see that there is actually an increase in the bidding here, right? There was a decrease in the offering here. You can see that this offering goes away. This bidding increases. And we can see that we have a decently large market buy here, and the market buying continues and gets larger here. Now price is at resistance right here. Do you guys think that this resistance, oh, well, that just answered it there. Do you think that this resistance that just broke is likely, do you think price is likely to just continue moving higher on broken resistance, or do we think that price is going to move up and then back down? All right, let's go see what happened. So this resistance failed. You can see price went beyond the resistance and price continued to go higher here. And now we're retouching this support point again. And we're bouncing from support. Right, so at this point in time we have support and we have some pretty well established resistance here. We really have our range down with a lot of touches of support. Question for you guys. Do you guys think that if price goes down to this support point here, price will fall or hold? All right, I'm going to answer it. I really think that if price goes back down to support here, it's very likely to fall. We have had so many touches of support here. I think that the sellers are just going to burst right through if price goes down here. Resistance looks decently strong, but I think this support looks quite weak. Yeah, this resistance is holding right here, as you can see. Price is beginning to fall, and price falls through support, as you can see. There were just so many touches of this support level, and we also see some of the bidding get pulled, and price falls through. All right, let's go identify some more resistance and support points and gauge whether or not those will hold or fail. We go a bit forward. So we have some resistance here, as you can see, with an offer cluster, and we have some very short-term support here. So if this support and this resistance, what do we think is going to happen? I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to tell me whether or not you believe that this is strong resistance. I think that this is pretty weak resistance, actually. The reason I say that is I'm not seeing a lot of selling, a lot of market selling. It looks like the buyers are in control, and it really just looks like once this offer cluster is filled or pulled, the price will just keep going higher. So I think if we retouch that, it's going to break through, and we do break through, as you can see there. We break through that resistance there, and price continues to go higher, right? All right, now let's see, we got another touch of support here. Okay, so if price goes down to a support here again, exactly. So I was kind of insinuating it, but I'm not going to give myself that much credit. Really what we were looking at here, let's deconstruct this range. So what we had was we had support here, right? And we have so many touches of support that we know that another touch, probably price is just going to break right through it. We do have this resistance here, this does become strong resistance. As you can see, this was pretty weak resistance. Again, the reason I said that is we don't have a lot of selling. Not really expecting that to hold. It really didn't hold. Price went past it. We can see, let me clear the drawings. We can see that that support completely failed, right? All right. Let's go get some more support and some more resistance points. Let's go here. All right, so we see we see more of an uptrend. We don't really see much predetermined, not predetermined, but support and resistance points yet. Let's see here. Yep, so we're really just seeing an uptrend. We can look for short-term support and resistance points here, though. What support do we see? Well, I can show you guys some. I see support here potentially. I also see potential support here. So really of this low and of this low, these are two areas that could become future support. So let's see what happens. So yeah, so this second area did become support, right? You can see that right there. This area didn't at all. This area did. This area right here became support. The reason why I thought that this area was important is because the amount of bidding that was here, as you can see. But that was pulled, as you can see there. So let's clear those guys and move on. So yeah, that support does hold. We can see price does go higher. And what you are going to see sometimes with a bounce from support is this heavy selling at a market bottom and then price rises. This traps the sellers down here. And what you can also see sometimes is heavy buying at the very top, as retail traders FOMO at the very top, or fear of missing out buy at the top. Now this support looks to me quite strong. I'm seeing a large amount of selling here. So if price does go anywhere close to this area, back down, I am expecting price to bounce. But it looks like price is just going higher right now. But if price does go back to the 73.30s, I think that we are going to get a bounce. So keep the 73.30s in mind. Well, price just killed all those sellers who had sold in the 73.30s. Not all of them, but probably a good amount of them, and we go a lot higher. Let's see if we have any resistance or support points here. What we do have is previous resistance at this very top. If price goes up here, oh, price just bursts right through that resistance. We have resistance around here that probably will hold. We have so much market buying here that this is likely to just hold. Price is going lower. Let's see how those 73.30, oh, price doesn't even go down to them. But this does look like quite heavy selling. And do you guys think that this support would hold? If price goes back down here, do we think we hold? All right, let's go see what happened. So price didn't go down there yet. Yeah, it really doesn't hold. I wasn't really expecting this to even go this high because of the amount of selling versus buying. We can see more sellers here than buyers, and price just goes down. Again, we have those trap sellers in the 73.30s, so I'm still paying attention to that. And we have a large amount of selling here. This is going to become support very likely. I think that if price goes down to here, we'll probably get a bounce back up. Okay? I don't think that this resistance looks very strong, though. Yeah, price rises. The resistance was just not strong at all. And the resistance is really weak. Price just, climbs way, way higher. As you can see. Now remember we had said that 74.8 area was resistance. I had said that about 2-3 minutes ago. You can go back in time to see that. Let's scroll back to really what we were looking at there. That's here, yeah. So not 74.08, pardon me, but really the area from 74.12 up to 74.28 is resistance because of the amount of market buying that had occurred there. I'm not expecting price to have an easier time going past 74.20. And price didn't. Price established resistance here. Now I will say I believe that if price goes here for a fourth time, the price will likely just rise right beyond it. But you can see that recently, this is actually live data. As you can see, we have gone from historical to live. This support did not hold. This support here, let me just show that. This support area right there did not hold. Reason it didn't hold is probably just because the sellers were stronger than the buyers. You can see more selling here really than buying. Now, one thing that we didn't cover in today's video is resistance that turns into support and support that turns into resistance here. So what we talked about was just active resistance that becomes resistance another time, or active support that just becomes support another time. But another way to look at this is these previous support levels can become active resistance. And that might be happening here. We see weak market buying currently, really weak market buying, which is not many people interested in market buying, and we're seeing a bit of a move back down. So potentially this could become resistance. And other examples of resistance becoming support, I mean, there are just plenty of those. Or support becoming resistance at the same time. Let's go back in time and see some of those. Some of them aren't beautiful. Some of them really are quite beautiful. One of them that I do see is we have support here, right? Support here that barely holds. And then price retests this level and then goes back down, so it treats that as resistance. Another one that we have is this swing low that does become previous support. And we get a price move that treats that as resistance, right? And then goes back down. And yeah, so that actually, this previous support here that we had just talked about 2 minutes ago did become resistance and price fell. Other areas wherein resistance can become support, and if you guys are confused about what I mean by resistance turn support or support turn resistance, this is covered later in the order flow learning course, where I talk about really how to execute trades using this kind of method of support turn resistance and resistance turned support. It's just another way of looking at resistance and support in a more trending fashion than instead of a ranging fashion. Some examples of it is we have resistance here, price goes up, treats that as support, it goes back up higher. Treats it as support a second time and goes up a little bit higher here. Let's go to the present. All right, let me zoom in on this action right here. So it looks like the first thing is that this did become resistance. And now it looks like we have some larger buys, but do we think the price is going to be able to break this resistance? Or do you think price is just going to go up a bit and then back down? Well, we'll see. To me, this looks quite bearish overall. I'm not really thinking that this kind of structure looks bullish. I mean, maybe you guys see this as bullish, but to me, this looks like price may go just a little bit higher and then probably trend back down. So price does go a little bit higher, and now let's see if we get that move back down. So we just had a sell of 100,000. All right. The bids do look strong here, but I wouldn't be shocked to see the sellers come back. But that is probably going to do it for this video today. We talked about resistance and support and locating weak resistance and locating weak support, and also how to use resistance turn support points, how to gauge where a trend will probably retrace to. So right here we can see an example, and a way to do that for actually placing orders would be to identify the exact price level of support, which was here at 73.86.5, 73.86, and then putting limit sells at that 73.86, 73.86.5. All right, so we do go a little bit above resistance, or actually a decent amount above resistance. I still think that these sellers are probably just going to come right back. I don't want to end the video here because I want to see this price action, this order flow. But I am going to end the video here. You guys can go look up what happened December 5th at 5:42, or really 17:42, and see if price kept going up or if price goes back down. Personally, I think that price is probably just going to go up and probably go back down soon. So we'll see in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.